Let me start off, Sheriff Norman Dalton, for the ones that don't know him. Let me start off by saying how this got started. First of all, there's no prison or correctional facility financed through the state of Tennessee to be built. That's the first thing. There's nobody from the state of Tennessee says they're going to build a prison or correctional facility in this area. How this started, let me explain this, and I think rumors have got out that it's going to be built on Liberty Valley, Naum's property, and other places. As far, again, there's nothing to that. How this got started was just a conversation between two gentlemen. And then I think Kenneth was contacted about the city of Petersburg. Would, in the future, it'd be 5-10 years down the road, if the state of Tennessee decided to build another correctional facility, would the citizens around Petersburg and the outside area, would they be interested in that? And Kenneth got with some of the other members of the city council here. He called me back, said, yeah, they would like to talk to me about it. I came down, I explained to them, there's nothing saying the state of Tennessee will build a correctional facility here. All it is, if you're interested, if the citizens of Lincoln County or Marshall County around this area are interested, then what you have to do is you've got to get a letter from the city council requesting the county commission, if they'd write a resolution, send it to the commissioner of corrections and say, hey, if and when you ever decide to build another correctional facility, would you come down and look at us and explain it to us and see if we're interested? That's all this is. There's no money appropriated, and it was just a gesture. If you want your name in that hat in the future, if the state of Tennessee look this way. Now, the last prison, I will tell you, the last prison they built was over in Bledsoe County. They built it for a 1,000-man bed. They had to add 500 beds to it after they got it built. They still have 2,200 acres over there. So, of course, I don't know what the plans of the state of Tennessee are, but that was all this was about, is just getting your name out there, the citizens down this way. If you're for it, then if the majority would have been for it, then I think myself and others would do what we could to help you. But if you're not for it, that's what we're for too. I mean, that's up to the citizens, not me. The sheriff, we talked, I think we're all in agreement. It's whatever the citizens down in this area want. That's what we want. It was just a gesture that, you know, that's something that you may want to look at. So that's where it started from.
Do you know anything about what kind of prison this would be?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
No information?
No, there's no prison, no big deal.
When that prison was built in Bledsoe County, is it a maximum security, minimum security, or?
Bledsoe's medium security. Yes.
Okay, and that was, what, 10 years ago?
No, they just got it up.
Came online in the last year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They shut down the TAP youth center over there and took a lot of that and built on to that area and used some of the officers and doing TAP center in the new prison. So it's basically in the same area, using a lot of the same facilities.
That's mine.
My question, if you could explain maybe the benefits of having a prison 5-10 years down the road to this area, and the the advantages and disadvantages to an area like this? What are the advantages? What would be the disadvantages?
Well, that's a study that if the city council wants to go forward on it, that they're gonna have to do. I can't tell you what sit here and tell you what the advantages and the disadvantages is gonna be. I've heard it's gonna make your property value go down. I've heard that you're gonna, of course, you have, Bledsoe County has 600 employees. You know, if they decided to build one here, that's, you know, I don't know how many employees it'd be, but, you know, it's jobs, you know, there's no, I don't know. It's a study that they're gonna have to do.
From a business standpoint, it actually is going to be a big boost to the economy. For the simple fact, all your construction is going to take place from within the area. You're talking about probably a 2-year construction. And this is simply just talking, okay? You talk about your construction, you talk about your real estate, the people that are renting the homes, people that are buying homes because they're going, you know, supervisors are going to be here. Then you turn right around, once the construction's done, you're looking at 500 to 600 employees, 500 to 600 jobs that are state jobs that pay pretty good money, you know, they boost the income, which in turn helps your real estate again, helps your local economy, things like that. So, yes, sir.
You said state jobs. Could this be contracted? Could it be like a contract to a company? You know, I know state Tennessee, they have certain facilities that, you know, are not one of those state corrective facilities. Am I correct in that?
Corrections Corporation of America.
Right.
Yes.
And another question I have, Peter, they approached the city board about this, right? Right, Kenneth? Or somebody?
Well, all it was,
They just wanted
to know if we felt like
It's something
down the
like
road
that.
that we might want to consider.
Right, right.
And that's one of the things, nothing's been set in stone.
Oh, I understand, and exactly.
Things like it, it's just a,
Fact-finding mission.
yeah.
Right. Well, have y'all thought about it enough as far as the board, you know, talk enough about it, you know, what it would be looking toward is taxes and stuff like that? If you say if you were to go out here in the country somewhere, would y'all try to supply water to it?
Well, that's one of the things, most time your prisons, usually, when they move in and they take and build their prison, they usually have their own water systems that they have and stuff like that, but they also get water from the county or whatever's closest to it. It depends on, again, where it's going to go. If it, you know, let me take that back. It depends on if they ever decide to build one, where to be built at.
Yes, sir.
Could we take just a show of hands so we kind of know how the room is, who the one's for, one's against, and one's undecided? Just so we kind of,
Yes, yeah. I believe it'd be great.
all right. Can we go forward first?
Wouldn't it be a good thing to find out some more things before we decide?
That would be, you'd be undecided.
Well, the thing about it is, we don't have all the facts. All we've done is, you know, we got people here I know that don't want it for sure. I've got emails and everything else, and I was told they building it over here, they done started breaking ground. That's bullcrap. Ain't nothing happened anywhere. It's got everybody upset that we're getting the maximum security prison here. The
Well,
prisoners
just
don't
as-
escape.
Just as the Lincoln County Sheriff said, that it could be a good thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of the promises that you know, go along with it don't ever materialize.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's what Biggie thought.
I've got article after article that show that they bring the jobs, but it doesn't bring any prosperity.
Where'd you get that at?
They came from
This is-
California, New York, Michigan, and Colorado.
I mean,
There was
off the
nothing
internet.
in the
This is one
South.
from Oregon.
Yeah.
And, you know, it says the national study cited a number of problems with using prisons to boost economies. First, prisons do not pay local taxes. Second, they rarely, if ever, purchase goods or services locally. While they sometimes try to hire locally, they do not always succeed because of union requirements and their promotions must be based on seniority. Third, prison employees tend not to live near their place of employment, preferring to settle in outlying areas and commute. For example, in this prison, 62% of the employees don't live even in the state They live in Idaho next door because the property taxes are low. And then finally, they supply inmate labor at such a low cost that they knock other people out of jobs.
Well, I'm guilty of that. I mean, y'all look at the town.
This was done by inmate labor.
Yeah.
You know,
There's no reason for
Now,
them to sit
and
in
I'm
there
not
and
saying
tell them not
everything
to
about them is bad. I'm not saying everything about them is bad. but
we're not saying it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know. I mean, the first I heard of this was when Norman called and said, hey, what do you think? I said, well, it's whatever the people, you know, and he and I were on the same page. It's whatever the people of Petersburg think, as far as whether they would want it, you know, even interjected into their community or not. I guess I'm here to learn as much as y'all are, and you get right down to it. I think everybody here is, we don't know. We've never dealt with a prison, you know, moving into an area, and I don't, to be honest with you, I think in my career, we won't ever deal with it, because Bledsoe, like I say, they've got 2,200 acres up there. I would think TDOC would probably expand that prison until they can't expand it anymore. And,
Well, that would make sense.
you know, that's what I would think would happen. Yes, sir.
I think that could have a lot of good points. If you go online, you can read about Colorado, Pennsylvania, several states have got good video format studies showing the impact of various process of matters. So if you go online, you can read about it,
Well,
several states listed on it.
it brings a good point out that I had never considered, and that is, you know, I think we can talk to the Sheriff's Association, Tennessee Sheriff's Association, the sheriffs around the communities where these prisons have been built. And that would probably settle a lot of questions I have, because I have the same questions you do, other than the concerns about inmates. I don't have, let me point out something to you that I don't mean to say I'm not concerned about inmates or escapes or anything like that, but common sense, if you escape from a prisoner, you're gonna hang around, you're gonna get gone. So probably the people closest to the prison are the safest out of the whole bunch when you get right down to it. So, you know.
Well, they gotta start somewhere, and if there's a car or somebody's house, they break.
Well, but if they, you know, I agree. I mean, they're gonna steal your car. And if they can steal your car, they're gonna take your clothes off the clothesline because they don't want to run down the road in a black and white striped outfit. You know, I understand those things, okay?
Hostage, where they keep on going.
Do what?
Back to children hostage, where you keep on going.
How many cases you heard of like that? Because I had, I think you can what if it. My point is, I think you can what if it to death. What if they get out and go up here and blow up the courthouse? You know, they could.
That's possibility.
You know, but they could blow up the courthouse ready to get put in there to begin with. So, you know, I'm not saying either way is the right way, because I don't know. I'm here to learn just like y'all are. The reason I say I'm not that concerned about inmates, I had 4 escape and 1 lick. And all 4 of them, we caught them about a half mile from jail on a dead run the other direction. You know, they're going to get gone as fast as they can get gone. So any attention they draw to themselves in the meantime simply alerts the people from the prison. There's not been that many prison escapes in Tennessee anyway. So, you know, that's why I made the statement that that part didn't bother me. What I would want to know if I were y'all is what it would actually do to your community. And that's what I think we want to know is what would it do to your community? What would it do to your peace of mind, your lifestyle, your property values? You know, what would it do to the city of Petersburg for it to even be close by? Yes, sir.
You've answered just about all my questions before I got to ask them. But has there been any history or been any studies done about us prison escapees in Tennessee and nationwide? What percentage and I don't even know how to voice the question, but is there any data stored somewhere where they keep up with that?
I would think that TDOC probably has that information. Mr. Schofield with TDOC may very well have that information, and we may be able to obtain it.
I think probably the only fear that I have of it is, the chance of escapes, and what does that mean to the safety of the Petersburg community? And that is the biggest question I've got. I also would like to know about the impact on our economy. But as I believe y'all have already told us that we don't know, right? No way to tell that.
Because we don't have any figures, anything like that. But as far as escapees go, everybody watches the news. How many times on TV have you seen somebody's escaped from a Tennessee prison in the last 10 years?
I don't know.
The ones that have escaped, didn't escape from prison, they were on work release. Like they said, they get work release and have to work. They walked off from work release.
I know, I think in Limestone County, they had a...
Now, Limestone County does.
Yeah, right. Yes, ma'am.
One thing, we're worried about an escapee, you know, we may have one, or in your case, you had 4. You know, look at the people that you pass by every day on the street that could be more dangerous than that one escapee on the run. But my question is, the prison sits in Bledsoe County. What kind of business has that brought into that area there? Do you know?
That's what I was saying a while ago. I think through the Sheriff's Association, we can find out from sheriffs that actually have prisons in their communities what impact it actually did have on their community. Because to be honest with you, I don't have a clue.
Bledsoe's fairly new, and so, you know, you'll have things coming in. It's going to take a while. Even if they did put a prison anywhere around here, it's going to take a while to bring in whatever they're going to have. I'd say it means quite a bit, really. But until we do a study on it or talk to some of the other counties that's got prisons in their counties and see what happened to theirs, what the property value was, what the impact was on the towns or the county, and things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
We have been driving back and forth from, say, here to Arkansas, and we have to go through Only. I don't know if you know where that's at. Is there a prison there?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. We drove back and forth for years before we even knew there was a prison there, because there's nothing but holes in the road. So I don't see any addition to their economy.
If you went by Only, if you could drive right by the prison, if you didn't know there was a prison there, you
We
couldn't
did
tell.
until one time we went by at night, and it was like, oh, well.
Yeah, it could be a football
We
field.
went right by
That's
there
all right,
for
so
years.
we're-
We never knew there was a prison.
But that brings up another point on the other side, and that is, you didn't know, so it didn't matter.
Right.
Nobody
But
lived
there was
or
no
worked around
economy.
there either.
You know,
Nobody-
Nobody lived or worked around there either.
Well, they had
A lot of
to.
people live there.
Yeah.
They had to. I mean, you know, what sustains Only Tennessee? You know, that's my question to you, is what sustains that town?
I just don't see how the Walker County area to have a landfill on one end of the county and a prison on the other to attract a lot of outside business.
I don't know either. You know, like I say, I just got in on this conversation tonight.
Well, what does Petersburg need it doesn't have? I mean, most of the people live here, they knew what Petersburg had when they moved here, and they seem to be happy with it. So, I mean, what is it that the prison could bring that Petersburg needs?
Well, I was born here, and we need some stores. Petersburg revitalized.
Terry can tell you, Petersburg used to be a booming little town.
That's
I
right.
know Petersburg, man, they had a railroad and everything.
Used to be, at this time of night, there were people walking around the square here shopping. On Saturday nights, I might not be on Tuesday or Thursday night, but
Yeah, we used to
on
roll up
Saturday
the
night,
streets
people
early.
here 8, 9, 10 o'clock.
Well, who says
Well,
it's
you've got
going
a
to come
Dollar
to
General, what
Pittsburgh?
kind of-
Nobody. Nobody says either.
We want to build anywhere now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's just like with the prisons that you had, that you was talking about out in Oregon and everywhere else. That's out west, up north. As far as unions, I don't think the state of Tennessee has unions in the prison. So it wouldn't be union workers.
They would have seniority.
Well, seniority just goes so far.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Well, you've got qualifications.
yeah, you gotta have qualifications. You
And I'm
have
not
to get
sure
people to be
that, I'm not
qualified.
sure Petersburg can supply the workforce that would be
Well,
qualified.
it's the surrounding area. It's not just the town of Petersburg.
I understand.
See, when you go for jobs there, they're gonna put it out statewide. And
Well,
you
like I
go-
said, what, in your opinion, what can the prison do for Petersburg that Petersburg doesn't already have.
That done already have, we ain't got much of nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
name something.
It could bring more stores in.
More, what kind of
Hardware
store?
stores.
Like a
Grocery
Walmart?
stores, whatever we need.
We couldn't support a store. This town won't support a store, there would be one here.
Well, they would be if everybody quit selling out to outside. But anyway, that's another story. But this thing here with what they bring, we'd have to do a study. Like we said, you can't answer questions that you don't know anything about.
Well,
I
didn't
could
know if
ask
there was-
questions.
I didn't know if there was some need that Vicksburg had that this would fulfill. That's my,
People would come
that's
to
my question.
If people would come to the regular board meetings like they are here, they would find out. But people don't come to the board meetings. You know why? They're not concerned about nothing. But they sure got concerned about this little rumor here, that there's already land broke and they already sold it out and everything. Everybody come. Everybody needs to come to the meetings and talk about what's going on in Petersburg. What does Petersburg need? How many people's concerned about that besides the president?
What's your biggest concern about it coming, dude?
Yeah.
I feel like it will depress property values. It doesn't help the economy. It's a short-term boost, and then it doesn't ever fulfill all the big promises everybody thinks it's gonna bring.
Well, all the people you work, you got from out west and up north. Is that not correct? Name the places where you got.
Yes, sir, that is in
What
Texas
difference
and
does that
Florida.
make where it's from? What
Well,
difference does it
go
make?
out
This
to
is all the
Oregon.
United States of America.
Go
It's
out to
not-
Oregon, go to Idaho, and look at how it's sparsely populated.
And it has not worked for.
Well, that's
Still
because there's not a lot of people out there.
New York is not sparsely populated. They built them all over New York.
Well, New York's a different thing altogether.
Well, I understand, but
You know what I mean?
I would have liked to seen some indications in this report that you sent, David, that of things in the Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee,
Louisiana, places
Kentucky,
like that.
I'll work
Georgia.
on that. I'll be glad to work on that.
Well, I mean, it was nothing, this was all California, New York, Michigan, Colorado, Idaho, and maybe a couple more states.
Okay.
Nothing in the southeast was
Go
in there.
southeast, go to Midwest, you know, whatever, just see what they are everywhere.
Well, I agree. I agree.
But like I said, nobody's saying that it's coming. Nobody said it was coming. We were just trying to get it out on the table, see what people thought.
Well,
Everybody got up and
what do
said
you
it.
think the people think?
Take a poll and see what you got.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we need to do, is get more people to come to the meeting and talk about it.
We're here, take a poll.
What you got is people that are dead set against it right now. Because the rest of the people know that nobody said it was coming. Nobody said this thing was coming.
So, James,
Yeah.
so you're saying the people didn't show up, knew that it was, had already talked to you guys about it then? Is that what
I've
you're
got,
saying?
you wouldn't believe how many calls and emails I've got. And I told them, I said, nobody said it was coming.
But
Okay,
just up
fine.
here tonight, the majority of them, I'm thinking, they are here for the prison issue.
Yeah, that's because they were
A lot of them
told.
live out in the city.
Yeah, that's
And we don't come
because-
down here.
That's because they were told that they done bought property on Liberty Valley Road.
Exactly. And
That's
that's
not
what
true,
we're
sir. We are here to make sure that
About
you,
Liberty Valley Road.
we are here, we were asked for our opinion.
Yeah.
And we're here to give your opinion.
Yeah, well, we got your opinion. We know how y'all feel. You know, that's what I'm saying. We know how you feel. And that's what we'll take into consideration. If it ever comes to pass, you know, that we have it, everybody's gonna be involved in it. Not just one or two or 12 or 13. Everybody needs to be involved. That's what I'm saying.
But the main thing, we can sit here and argue all night long. If it does come, 10, 15 years down the road, we ain't gonna, ain't
Most
none
of
of
us
us
ain't gonna
ain't gonna
be
be here.
We
We can't start, we can't say yea or nay.
Wait just a minute, that's not true. There are people in this room that'll be here.
He's
I
talking
said
about us on the board.
people On the board, in office and all.
Oh, that was
We got kids and grandkids that'll be around here though.
Yeah.
Won't this,
I've got grandkids and kids here too.
won't this have to come to a referendum if we
Yeah,
do?
everything will have to come, that's what we're saying, is days and nothing, road and stone about anything.
I'd like to say one other thing about jailbreaks, about that limestone county jailbreak. I believe it's limestone county, down in Alabama anyway. They called them in Only, we was talking about the Only prison. That's where they called them. They came and bought sandwiches at the little convenience store over there.
That's nice of them.
And it was, it's their economy, you see. But they called them right where the prison was real close to it. They called it Only, Tennessee. So so anybody that breaks jail in Tennessee is probably gonna leave because they're gonna get caught.
Well, you know, from a sheriff's standpoint, I think on both our parts, we were here to hear basically what the big uproar was all about, because it was my understanding that it was nothing other than, what if the state of Tennessee was to decide that they wanted to build another prison somewhere, would you even want your name in the hat if that were to happen? And it's gone from that. If you'll listen, I'll finish my question, okay? It's gone from that to, oh my God, there's a prison coming to Petersburg.
That's not what we,
No, that's not what
and-
I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm saying the majority of what has happened is it got blown out of shape to the point of now everybody's in an uproar over, Lord, we're going to have a prison. There is no prison. This is only getting the very, very tip of the iceberg started to even figure out if that was the potential to happen.
well, that's the reason we would like to stop it right now.
Right. All right. You know, and that's, I mean, like I say, I got a 5-minute phone call, and Norman said, what do you think? I said, well, it's up to them. I mean, whatever they want to do, it's not going to help me or hurt me one way or the other when you get right down to it. So I think a lot of tension needs to be relieved and just say, hey, look, there is no prison. There's probably not going to be a prison. The odds are really, really good. I'd say the odds are 99 to 1 that there's not going to be a prison built in the next 5 to 10 years in the state of Tennessee, much less in Petersburg.
So you're not going to throw your name in the hat? That's what we're understanding, that you're not?
I don't have any say in that.
We can have passed around. That's
you're
what I'm
not-
saying. No, what we were doing was, if it was entertained that, you know, if they're gonna build one, that you want to put your name in the hat. That's why we want all the citizens to say what they want to say. Not just a few, but we want everybody. Not 42, not 35, but the 300 and something citizens that we have in the city, plus the ones out in the county that are in the Petersburg area, that, you know, fall under Petersburg.
So how are you gonna do that?
Well, it was put in the paper, that's where a lot of people read it, and it was put in the paper, it wasn't worded right.
Well, we
They
know
laid out like
about
right.
things like that,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, but going forward,
Yeah.
how are you gonna assess how the people feel about it? What's your
Well,
plan to do?
The thing would be is if it was entertained at all, that they called us and say, look, we're gonna build a prison, do y'all want your name in the hat? First thing we'd do is have to get a group together, get everybody together and ask everybody, put it out in a letter or whatever we have to do, give us your thought on this here. Do you want it or do you not? We get it, if everybody says we don't want it, we send it to them, say they don't want it.
That ends.
Referendum? Well, if he started to actually do something on it, would be, but if he just given the idea that maybe we're gonna do something, we could send letters out and get the opinion from everybody, and if they said no, that would stop it right there.
then it would be.
If everybody said yeah, then we'd have to go through the whole legal aspects of it, but, you know.
Spend money on a referendum.
Yeah, spending money on a referendum is what you'd have to do. Yes, ma'am.
I think everybody's anger is just really out there tonight, like we're gonna make that decision tonight. And I think we need to come together and not be so angry, because this is just, you know, like you say, 5 or 10 years down the road. Think about how it's gonna hurt you, or how it's gonna hurt your neighbor, how it's gonna hurt your town, or how it's gonna help you, before you just jump in with both feet and
Exactly.
get all angry.
Exactly. See, everybody come in here with the attitude, we're not gonna have it. But nobody said we was gonna have it. That's not what was said. It was put in the paper the wrong way. When the lady wrote it up, when I read it, I thought, dadgum, where are they gonna put it? You know, nobody told me that they bought something or done something or whatever. But the thing is just to be able to, if they decide to build another one, everybody would have to look at it. We'd have the pros and the cons, we'd have everybody giving their sentiments on it. Well, yes, I want it, no, I don't want it. Then we'd have a big town meeting if people wanted it, and we'd get in here and talk about it. Then we'd see what we needed to do. But nothing has been said that we was gonna have one. There's nothing in the plans to have one. And everybody come in here with attitude like, hell no, we're not having this. Y'all excuse my language, pardon me. But that's what they had the attitude of. The emails that I got and the calls that I got, I'm the sorriest thing that walked on two dead dumb feet. Because I brought a prison in here, done bought land and had it already started.
I didn't get
Right.
that opinion, but, you know, it was heard that it would be on the Marshall County side of Petersburg. So that made it sound like there's some plans in the works. And that's the only reason I'm here, because I'm from Marshall County. I'm
Yeah,
not
well, see, that's what I'm talking about. Whenever things get out in the paper, you don't believe nothing that you read, and you believe half of what you see.
Well, that's why we're here, so we can find out.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what we told from the beginning, is
Just, my
there's no
opinion right
president.
now is I'm
Yeah.
undecided.
Yeah.
I'm undecided also, and what I would like to do, or if a group of people would like to join me, I'd like to drive into the town of Bledsoe County, whatever it is there, and talk to the people.
Yeah, because that's
I'm not
good.
in the sheriff's department, or
Yeah.
I want to talk to the
Talk to the individuals.
I want to talk to the guy that owns the store there, that's been there for 10 years, or
Or people that own the property that's been there for all their
Well, I
life
used
or
to live
whatever.
in Jackson, Michigan. Everybody knows that when you live in Jackson, that's where the prison's at.
Yeah.
It's big Southern Michigan prison, there's no problem.
Can I read something?
Yes, ma'am.
This is your letter in the,
Yeah.
in the, I think, let me see where it starts. We have received word that Tennessee is planning to build a new prison, and they are looking for a place to build it. Petersburg may have a chance to be where the prison may be built. This is only discussion at this point, just a possibility. If you have any comments, please write to Town Hall and let us know your feelings about the prison or plan to attend the Commissioners' meeting on September 19th.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You wrote that.
Yeah.
So you've been contacted?
Well, no, when it was discussed, we thought that they were talking about building one. That's the same thing I told the sheriff, that I thought they was gonna build one. And so that's why he's here tonight also, is because we was gonna discuss the aspects of what it would bring, what it wouldn't bring if we did have one around here. But it was worded a little bit different than what it should have been. But anyway, what did it say? We'd bring it here and discuss it, we'd do this, we'd do that, if it came.
Well, I'm also undecided, but I'm also, I want to see good things happen in Petersburg. And so I just want to know the pros and cons, and Don, I will be glad to go to Letcher County with you if you'd like to go. I'd like to be one of the
Yeah, Brad's been holding his hand up back there till it got hard.
I was one of the people at the meeting when this was brought up. And the sheriff done a very good job of presenting what if. And there was, when we left the meeting that night, there was no discussion other than get some people in here and see what they think. Well, there's a lot more that needs to happen. You got people here tonight that are upset about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know any more than I did the first night. I'm what actually, if it's a plan that's going to come 10 years down the road, it probably will never happen. But it's what if. Our recycling out here. We need to have some people come to our meetings. I'm the only one that sits in the audience. And that's a good place for discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
What I wanted to say is that we, at one time, lived in an area, Montgomery, Alabama, for 15 years. Montgomery County, Elmore County, surrounding county, was the home of about 4 Tennessee state facilities.
Alabama.
One of which was the only women's correctional facility within the state, which was Tutwiler. And that was, every time we went to town, we passed Tutwiler. It was just a way of life. Nobody thought anything about it. And besides that, it was a home for a federal facility on Maxwell. And we maybe toured that some, but we felt safe. It was just like nobody paid any attention to it. And before we left, as far as it hurting the industry, the big automobile plant that wound up hiring, about 2,000 people, Hyundai built in Montgomery. So I don't really think there's anything to fear. They had more escapes, like you said, from the work release centers than they did from the maximum security.
We had one escapee from, where was it, Kilby? Somewhere out there. You know where they caught him? Mobile, Alabama, 168 miles south. They don't stay, they leave.
I've had 2 escape on a work release program. One of them was caught on the beach in Fort Walton, Florida, and the other was caught smoking a cigarette on the subway in Atlanta. I mean, you know, so that goes with my previous statement. They're gonna get gone. I mean, these guys they had a ride lined up before they ever went out to work that morning, you know, so, but to ease your fears a little bit, you know, this is nothing other than, or it was intended, Norman, you straighten me out if I'm wrong, it was intended for nothing other than a discussion on what if the opportunity was to present itself somewhere along the line later in life, would you be interested in even entertaining this idea? That was the impression I got from the very beginning, okay? And the reason I'm here tonight is because I was just as interested to see what was going on as everybody else was, but, you know, just like the gentleman back here said, I'll tell you right now, I'm dead set against it. I think what they were pursuing to begin with was open-minded thought process to talk it out and see who's undecided, why you're against it, why you're for it, why you're undecided. Any of these things, just talk it out and see what there is actually to it before you even think about putting your name in the hat to even be considered for it. And that's not the feeling, and I wasn't here for the other, that's not the feeling I'm getting. Like James said, I'm getting the feeling that, like this lady over here said, you know, it's, nope, we're out, you know. Open your minds a little bit and look, and then if you're out, you're out. I mean, I understand that. I don't have any issue with that. But we don't have the answers. Y'all don't have the answers. To go with your numbers a while ago, that 68% or 62% didn't live around there, where do the other 38% live? Does it say that? That's 38% more than you got now. That's what I'm talking about, being open-minded as far as that's concerned. Now, is that good for Petersburg or bad for Petersburg? That's what Petersburg has to decide. That's what the people around here have to decide. I don't have a dog in that hunt. I'm going to be sheriff of Lincoln County until you vote me out of office, which, you know, that's entirely up to you too. I'm not saying that matter. But my point to that is, I'm going to be sheriff. It's not going to affect what happens at the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department. It's not going to affect what happens in the daily operations of the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department. It's not going to affect how I do my job. It's not going to affect how Sheriff Dalton does his job. All it's going to affect is what the people that we support think. And that's why I'm here, is to say, hey, you know, look at it. If it's something we can help you with one way or the other, if we can help you keep it out, if we can help you get it in. You ain't in right now, so you don't have to worry about keeping it out. That's a misnomer that's out there that, you know, you're not even on the list. And probably, and I don't know this for a fact, but I venture to say there's a whole lot of communities that would vie for that opportunity. So getting on that list is probably going to do nothing other than have them look at you. So, you know, I don't know. We don't know the answers to your questions because we didn't come prepared for this kind of discussion. I mean, you know, we probably could have gotten them, and we can get them, but I don't think there's anything that has to be answered in the next 6 weeks to decide to make up your mind one way or the other. So ease the tension a little bit and just take a deep breath and go, "Phew, I'm proud we ain't got to dodge that bullet tonight." You know?
Could we take a kind of an informal poll of the audience and see what everybody, what the vote?
We know what they want. There's no need to do it.
We know how the audience feels.
I've been looking this way.
I would like to say this, we got some good people sitting out there. I can see from their faces some great people. Let's use this energy that's out there and help Petersburg bring some more industry, some kind of business. We got 4 members of the Planning Commission sitting here tonight. We would love for you people to inundate us with business that's coming in. Help us to get Petersburg built up. We're not here to build a prison. We would like to build Petersburg up through the right manner, and that's put us on the Planning Commission to work. Help us get industry, help us get stores, whatever you can help us with, fast food restaurant, whatever. This town can come back, and we're here to help, and we ask y'all to help us.
Well, and I agree with that 100%. And that's one of the things that when you read some of these things, even though they may be out west at other places, but if you close yourself off to some of this other development when you become known as a prison community. And to the lady that spoke about Montgomery, that some of the things I've read, prisons in urban settings tend to help the economy a whole lot more than rural settings. And I've only been addressing the rural settings. And there's one little sentence here, this from U.S. Justice Center. So this is for the whole country, not just out west. Prisons do not significantly boost the economies of the rural counties that host them. So I think it's just that my whole point is just, I know from first glance you think this is going to be great. And I'm just, from what I've read, it doesn't help.
I think this man right here had the very best solution to the whole thing, and that's go into one of these communities, Bledsoe or wherever, and just walk up to people on the street and say,
Go to a couple of them.
you know, what effect does the prison have on y'all, you know? Do your homework. I think that's a very, very good solution to get some of the answers y'all are looking for, and it's just simply ask the people
It's
that are in the same.
It's only been online.
Yeah, we Bledsoe just for a while, but that's what we're saying is go to a couple of more that have been there for several years.
And go into Alabama.
What's the one over in West Tennessee?
Whiteville.
Only, then you got one.
Whiteville.
Whiteville.
Okay.
Is it Whiteville?
Whiteville.
Limestone County.
Yeah, Limestone County.
You know, I think that's a very reasonable thing to do, because then you get the perspective of the people that actually are everyday people that don't deal with inmates, don't deal with law enforcement, they don't deal with all of this. They're just the citizens that live there. And they can tell you their perspective of it. It may be good, it may be bad. I don't know, because like I say, I've never done it. But
Well, I mean, I would go back to you, what you were saying on it would be wonderful if Petersburg could be known as an art community or craft, some kind of craft community. You could fill all these buildings up, because somebody like Linville, that Colonel Littleton, went into Littleton and he does leather products. And he's filled up most of the little buildings there in Linville. And it looks wonderful, and it looks prosperous, and I think there's a lot of other avenues out there.
this may have been a good thing, because it got everybody together and people start looking and go, hey, we could do this. People in their situation tend to get tunnel vision going after industry. It don't necessarily have to be industry, like you said. It can be more of a tourism type deal where people come in here and buy the arts and crafts, and they eat at the local restaurants, and they visit the local things to see. There are ways of doing it without without having to take drastic steps.
And you know, and where we're located, you know, you mentioned Linville, you wouldn't believe the motorcycles that come through here on the weekends between Linville and Lynchburg. And I agree, it's not necessarily landing that one big, you know, that one big fish that's gonna bring 2,000 jobs in here. I've always asked the question, why can we not be another Linville? Why can we not be another Bell Buckle? Why can we not be another Lynchburg? I've asked that question. And there are individuals that are taking that ball and running with it right now on this square that you're going to probably see in the next 6 months that are running with that ball right now and trying to do that.
Let me give you a prime example. How many of you are aware of the Trail of Tears coming through Fayetteville?
Say that again.
The Trail of Tears motorcycle ride.
Oh, I just know from Trail of Tears.
You'd be amazed how much flack I got over the Trail of Tears coming through Fayetteville. It was awful. You wouldn't believe how bad this thing's gonna be for Fayetteville, Tennessee. It's gonna stop traffic and you can't get emergency vehicles across town and we're gonna have this and we're gonna have that. When in reality, it takes an hour and a half out of a Saturday. They come in, they stop, they eat lunch, they fuel up, they spend their money to get on their motorcycle and ride off. And what happened? Nothing. Now it comes through and nobody pays any attention to it, and they go, boy, motorcycles are pretty today, well, there's a whole bunch of them, nobody's getting there. You know, I guess where I'm going with that is that in itself is a boost to the economy of Fayetteville. If it's only an hour and a half, it's a good thing, just like Lynchburg. They have that big motorcycle rally up there one weekend a year. What is one weekend a year in a lifetime?
You know, I've had to provide essential services to those people that are adding to your economy as well.
That's it. You don't have to provide sewer and water and fire protection and all of that. And it's one weekend. But they come to your town and they spend their money. And they increase your tax base, they increase the revenue of the people that are here, and they're gone. Just like that. So, you know, I encourage you as the citizens of surrounding this community, help them, open your eyes, say your ideas. I mean, I hear we're having a car
Saturday afternoon.
Hey, I'm all in. I'll tell you straight up, you start bringing hot rods to town and the sheriff will be here. Not to get on the guys doing hot rods, I'm gonna see the cars. But if I want a Coke, I'm gonna buy it in Petersburg. If I want a hamburger, I'm gonna buy it in Petersburg.
We remember this community as an antique, where people would come from miles away because of the antiques.
All of the work that the Sheriff's Department's done up here was to help the community of Petersburg be more presentable, not break you in the process of restoring your town back. That is a program that has been very beneficial to Lincoln County. I mean, it has saved the taxpayers of Lincoln County millions of dollars. Yeah, it did take jobs that, well, let me back up. In reality, it didn't take jobs that other people were going to get because Petersburg couldn't afford the other people to do the job. You know, that's the purpose for these work crews doing what they do. Plus, it gets them out in the community and makes productive citizens out of them, even if we have to have our thumb on them at the time they're productive citizens. Because when you let them out, part of them go back to being unproductive citizens again. But at least you get something for your dollar that you're spending to housing. You get a service out of it. You know, that is this jail addition. Everybody's heard about this big jail addition the sheriff wants. This man right here can tell you no sheriff wants a bigger jail. None. There's no. You got one. Okay. I've got 140 today in a 106-bed facility. Okay. I've got 140 mad mothers to go with them. Because their little Jimmy didn't do nothing wrong. And we're not taking care of his medical needs, and bless his heart, he can't come out and go eat Christmas dinner with him when he wants to because he's in jail. Well, bless his heart. But that is going to be a work-based facility. They're going to work. And I'm going to put the people out there with them to see to it that they work. If they don't work, we're going to lock them down 24 hours a day. to give them incentive to want to work. So, and there's some of them that you couldn't time and throw them on work. But they'll sit and look through the bars 23 out of 24 hours a day. You know, I'm okay with that. But that, if you get stuff in here, if you get Petersburg rock and rolling, we should work crews up here. We can't work on private owned buildings, but we can work on the buildings that you as taxpayers put the bill for.
I understand that the people that come back to jail that's been on your work crew, there's a lot lower percentage of them that come back to jail after they get out than the national average.
Yes.
I learned that from talking to Mr. Gary, and if you read the Petersburg Unit, we've written several articles about that in there. I would like to ask a question. Are the primary concerns that people have about their prospective prison is property values and danger from escape? Is there anything else that would be...
What kind of business is going to keep out, or what kind of business is going to bring?
Never come under
It's going to be escapees, it's going to be the property values. And what kind of business will it bring, what kind of business will it keep out?
There'd have to be a big study done before anything could be decided. And two, it'd be one of those things where we get everybody together and say, look, they ask us, what do y'all think?
Where does the money come from to do this study?
To do,
To do the study, where would the money come
it's
from?
it's just gonna be us doing it, or out here, some of the people out here want to volunteer to do some of the study work, you know, go to these places and talk. The board here don't get paid at all. The planning commission don't get paid, but we don't mind doing a study. The planning commission don't mind doing their studies. But if we could get people out here to come in and say, hey, I want to be with y'all on that, let's go check this out. Hey, I'm all for it.
The Lions Club is going to do some of this studies. And our findings will be published in that little newspaper.
Well, I hope it would be a bipartisan study by whoever does it.
It would.
Whether it be from people out here,
Yeah.
or people going to the towns, or from Lions Club, or you guys.
I think it'd take everybody. Everybody. The town of Petersburg is everybody, not just me, not just the board, not one or two out here, anybody else. It's everybody in this community. We're all here, Petersburg citizens. Whether you're outside the town or not, you're still in the Petersburg area. So when it comes to something like that, everybody out here counts. We want everybody involved, not just one or two, but everybody. And then that way we can get y'all's information, his information from down here, we put it together and take a look at it and say, no, ain't happening. Or, well, let's study some more and see if we can't make this work. But it's gonna take everybody in the Petersburg area to work together.
Does everybody feel a little better than that? A little more relieved?
Everybody has a say-so in this. It's not just us, it's everybody.
We have a motion to adjourn. Any questions about anything from me? Sheriff Dalton started this, and I did all the talking.
Good job.
He learned how to delegate authority.
But I want to thank everybody for being here, voicing your opinions. And like I said, if anything ever comes down to where we need to do a study, or if people would just like to have a study done just to ease everybody's mind, let's all get together and get what we need to do and go with it. And then if it ever does come about, we look at this and we said, no.
10 years from now, the study will be all.
Yeah.
Just remember, board meeting meets on the second Monday night of the month.
Yeah.
Planning commission on the first Monday.
And on Saturday, there is a,
Saturday's a cruise in.
what time?
3 o'clock's when they're gonna line them up. And while I've got a captive audience, and I'll let y'all go. There is a group trying to revive the old community center down here in the elementary school. Anybody that can help with that, if you would like to see a community center back in this area, they need all the help they can get, whether it be sweat equity or dollar equity, whatever you can do. They need some help, seriously. And there's a group behind it that is local to this community. they want to see that back working so that you as a community have somewhere where you can gather and congregate and have your events and reunions and whatever you might want to have. So I ask you to try to get involved with that as well.
That kind of goes along with what I was fixing to say. We can't thank Mr. Gary enough
Yeah.
for what he's done, for what your group has done here.
Amen.
Mr. Gary was supposed to be, when he gets back ready, he was supposed to be coming and put a roof on the cafeteria part of the school, a metal roof on.
Well, now have two of those. We now have two crews. We just put the second one on last week. And I'll tell you straight up, we got to build Park City a new fire station before we do anything else. I've got them on hold to build Park City a new fire
We've
station.
gotten real partial, Mr. Gary.
I know, and I've had trouble getting you back that way.
What do you want, Karen?
I just would like to invite everybody, the second Saturday, almost everybody wants on. On the second Saturday of the month, we have a bluegrass picnic on the square here. Potluck, we start at 5, we got potluck from 6:30 to 7:30, it's local, open night. Come and enjoy the music, enjoy the meeting with your neighbor. A lot of the people that we have come to that picnic and greeting is from out of town. And we don't have that many Petersburg board members included that come, but it's a great time to get together and enjoy good food, good music, and bluegrass picnic green. Some country, some bluegrass, mostly bluegrass. No electrical instruments, but it's a fun time to get together. And I invite you guys. This is the 9th year we've had it. And how many have been there? How many live in Petersburg for 9 years and how many have come? It's a fun place to come. This band plays, and Philip Bolander on the board plays. This guy's come and sang, but it's a fun place.
But, Karen, on October the 12th, we're having our Oktoberfest, which is a cornbread and bean meal. Starts about 4 o'clock. We will still be having our music that night, but we won't have a potluck supper. And
Make sure you get beans and cornbread and onions and all the trimming.
And everybody that knows Will and Carol Galt and what happened to Will just recently about him having a full hip replacement and Carol being in the shape she's in, we are going to, and we ask you to come and support this. It's donations only. We don't charge you anything. But we're going to give the proceeds of the Oktoberfest to Will and Carol because they are having a lot of extra expenses now. So we want you to come and support us in that.
And there are people all over Lincoln County coming to that because I know a lot of them in the Park City area, including my in-laws.
Yeah.
They do, they love it.
They don't miss it. So, and I've been there times too, but I couldn't get in.
Again, thank y'all for coming.